Hi, everybody. Welcome to Meet the Mailers. I'm Paul Bobnak for Who's Mailing What, a direct mail 2.0 company. And today I'm talking with Karen Brooker. She is a VP of Growth Strategy at Marketing Card Technology in Downers Grove, Illinois. Now, before we get started today, if you have any questions or feedback, please comment in the box below. You can show your support for the Who's Mailing What channel and this video by tapping the like button. And to get notified when we add new videos to the channel, click on subscribe. Now let's meet the mailers. Hi, Karen. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you for inviting me. I've been enjoying your articles for a while, Paul. So
Oh,
it's
great.
nice to finally meet face to face in a virtual space.
Awesome. Well, we're going to talk a lot about, your company's place in the big direct mail and print ecosystem. But I want to get started by talking about your background and the journey that led you in through print and manufacturing, right up through to marketing card technology.
I started in this business by accident. I
Mhm.
literally it was a temporary fill-in desk job for somebody who was on her honeymoon, and it turned into a career. So that was 30 years ago. The first direct mail project I remember working on was, I don't know if you're old enough for Columbia House Records
Of
mailings.
course. Yeah.
So yeah,
I've
so
had a
back
lot of
in
my collection from them.
Oh my gosh. So for those of you who are watching who might not be old enough for this, Columbia House Records mailed in the tens and hundreds of millions direct mail packages, many of which contained a plastic card. And if you signed up for their subscription service, they would send you two records a month. I think you had the choice to maybe send them back and get something else, but it
Right.
was an amazing business, and it was kind of the direct mail heyday. So everybody's mailboxes were full of offers from Columbia House and other companies. So we were at the time we were producing cards 12 million a week.
Hmm.
I would say probably we averaged between 40 to 50 million cards per month, and these were all going into direct mail packages.
Mhm.
Um, of course, we had other clients as well, but this is the one that really stands out in my memory because of the sheer volume and because of the speed at which we had to react to orders. So they gave us very little time.
Right.
So
Right.
that's where I started. Over the years, I have been touching the card industry in different ways. Both, I'm in the direct mail space, also in payment and access and membership and hotel key cards. Um, but here at MCT, direct mail remains a kind of our legacy. So it's what MCT started with, and we now are also very proud not only to serve the direct mail space, but also to have a growing footprint in the payment card space.
Mhm. And so, what is your job involved today?
I am, I've got one foot in marketing, one foot in sales.
Hmm.
So I do, I spend as much time selling as I can, but I'm supporting the business with marketing strategy. So a lot of what I'm doing, I'm helping prepare for trade shows. I'm managing social media, handling our advertising. Um, and then when I have time, I'm selling.
Okay. Cool. So, let's talk, like, broadly speaking for a moment about MCT, where the company is located, and generally like an overview of what the company's products are.
Sure. We're privately owned. We
Hmm.
are founder managed. So we have two founders. One of them manages our card manufacturing plant. The other manages our direct mail production facility. Both are located in the Chicago suburbs.
Right.
And we do business nationwide, though. Our clients are all over the country, primarily in the United States. We do also serve some business outside the country. Um, and we're selling into a variety of markets. So we continue, a significant portion of our business remains direct mail. And then beyond that, we're also producing Visa, MasterCard, credit card, debit card products. We are producing RFID cards, so tap, like entrance into hotel rooms, that type of card.
Yeah. Okay. So let's, get really down to the core of MCT's business, which is direct mail. I've been in direct mail for 25 years, and I've, seen like a lot of cards used over the years in direct mail acquisition, and I have like my own little collection besides, what Who's Mailing What has collected over the years in different forms. So I have, lots of mail pieces, USO for uh, fundraising and progressive insurance, personalized, all these different types of cards. So basically, the question is, why do they work? Why is it that they're still like a big part of direct mail for a couple of decades here?
I think a big reason for that is, and I don't think I could have predicted this when I started in the
Hmm.
business. Even today, cards carry a perceived value in the consumer's mind. Just yesterday, I got my new Prime Chase Prime card,
Hmm.
credit card, and it's a metal card. They changed it up from the last metal card I got from them. So this one is kind of a classy blue metal card. Um,
Okay.
for whatever reason, cards resonate with consumers as items of value, and so they spark curiosity. The nice thing is
Mm.
you can feel the card in the direct mail package before you even open it up, and so right off the bat, there's an enticement to open that envelope. Almost all card packages get opened, so that's the very first challenge that a marketer has, is to get their message seen. So I think, that's a big part of it. Once you open the package, the card tends to draw the eyes. So so different marketers will use the card for different purposes. And I've got a few examples here. And
Okay.
we do
Cool.
go into this also. We published an ebook last year, which is available free to anybody who asks, which talks about the different ways you can use cards in direct mail.
Okay.
Um,
On the website?
Yes, yeah. So,
Right.
or just reach out to any of us by email. We've got a response
Hmm.
form on our website. Um, so some mailers are using cards to highlight an offer. So here's an example, and you'll see one of these two cards doesn't even have the brand name listed. So there's no logo.
Right.
It's just the offer. It's the key message.
Hmm.
We have other marketers that use what we call a faux card. So this is
Hmm.
essentially kind of like here we've got a fake printed chip on the card,
Right.
something to kind of illustrate the final product. We have another one here that's showcasing the call to
Hmm.
action.
Hmm. Yep.
Here's another that's highlighting an offer. And then you've got cards, let's see here, especially in the nonprofit space,
Oh, yeah.
cards
Right.
that give the consumer a sense of membership, a sense of ownership, a sense of belonging with
Hmm.
the whether it's a charity or whether it's a club. So
Yes.
so I think that's the key, is understanding that there's so many different things you can do with that card once you open the package.
Hmm. Yeah, what I like about that is, especially with the nonprofits, is being intentional about when you use a card. Gives people that, like you said, that sense of belonging, the sense of pride. Uh, because let's face it, there's certain uh, uses, like if it's a insurance offer, it's that hot potato. It's something that if you throw the rest of your um, direct mail package into the recycling bin, that part that you keep, that you put like on your desk or on the fridge or wherever, and then 2 days, 3 days, a week later, you say, "Oh yeah, I really ought to think about that insurance offer," and you scan the QR code or you go to the website and you go from there. But
Right.
with a nonprofit mailing, it's really like a lot more to the emotional core of that package, and being part of that great cause.
And we do see in the nonprofit space some some nonprofits using the card as a memento, as a
Hmm.
keepsake. So they'll use artwork for the front of the card that has some emotional value to the consumer that's receiving it, or maybe on the back of the card they might have a calendar for the year or a tipping
Hmm.
guide or something that makes that consumer want to hang on to that card and keep it close. Um,
Hmm.
and it helps with kind of that repeat giving and things like that. I wanted to mention also with both nonprofit and with, I've also seen insurance mailers do this, where they will um, solicit new customers with a temporary card with kind of the promise of a permanent card on the other side of the purchase. So, or the other side of the gift. And so in that case, they might go with a very low cost kind of throwaway card for that initial mailing. And then when there's a response, the consumer receives a hard card, which is maybe more elegant, it's more durable, and it's something that
Hmm.
they're going to hang on to.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's key is like having that design in mind ahead of time, and one part of the company know what the fulfillment side knows what the marketing side is doing, and be able to uh, work together on that so that someone says, "Gee, this doesn't look as good as what was sent in the direct mail acquisition piece that I got. What's going on here?"
Right, right.
Well, thinking about strategy, what kinds of things should a mailer consider when planning a campaign that might use a card? We know somebody who hasn't done that before. What kinds of things should they really think about? Like if there's one big must, you must do this.
Yep, yep. So once you've kind of identified the purpose of the card and figured
Hmm.
out, what work it's going to do in your direct mail piece, from a practical standpoint, you want to make sure you're using very high resolution artwork, um, high quality artwork. And then keep in mind that the card is a very small canvas. So don't try to do too much. There's only so small. You can go with a
Right.
font and have it be legible to your audience and keep your audience in mind when you're picking your fonts. I have seen the mistake made frequently of having a very noisy background on the card front and then attempting to personalize that card with a name and number and maybe, member since or something like that. And I feel like when you do personalize a card, it adds a lot of value. But if
Hmm.
it's hard to make out that personalization because the background has all of this commotion, I think you're missing out on an opportunity. So if you're going to personalize the card, make sure you think about that space where the personalization is going to live and kind of make room for it, have good contrasting colors.
Hmm. Yeah, that's great. I mean, I think that I've seen examples of that, where it's like that wasn't thought out all that well. But I
Yeah.
think the technology, on the other hand, I mean, I think that like a lot of things in direct mail, that the thought and the experience has gotten better over the years.
Mhm.
It just seems like there's more, um, lessons learned from, people's experience with it. Are there any type of uses that would involve the USPS promotion programs that could, using cards?
Yes, so the tactile sensory and interactive program the is running this year until July 31st. We're seeing the
Hmm.
post office repeat that. We're hoping to see it again next year.
I think it
So
will be. Yeah, I think that's been
yeah,
approved.
there is still time for that for this year, and
Hmm.
the Postal Service has been really great at recognizing the tactile and interactive value of a card in your mailing. So here's an example of an embossed card. I mean, you
Hmm.
can feel the raised embossing. I don't think we've had any applications for approval for that program turned down, and that's a 4% discount on postage, which is
That's
incredible.
yeah, yeah. Considering the increases over the last 4 years, yeah.
Yeah, definitely take advantage of that one. And
Hmm.
we do look forward to doing that again next year.
Hmm. And so you guys will work with a marketer who maybe hasn't used a card in the past, but says that we have a couple ideas, or we're asking you for ideas about something that can be used and might be eligible for this promotion discount.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we can,
Hmm.
there are, there's certainly sensory inks. You can use scented inks and things like that. But the
Hmm.
simplest way is simply to emboss a card and
Hmm.
affix it in the package. It's literally as simple as that. So we have clients that, that run card programs all year long, and they, once the season starts for that promotion, they jump on board. And so we will work with new clients to design. As a matter of fact, we've got a handful of just stock backgrounds we can provide as, for those clients that are having difficulty with finding the resources for a design. And then, you get a card added to the package, and you're pretty much paying for it with postal savings.
Hmm. Yeah, and like I've seen like over the years a lot of speaking of embossing, where the card that's underneath the envelope that's inside, the embossing like kind of
Yeah.
almost shows through as an impression. So besides the tactile, um, factor where you're like not able to flex the card, and you think, all right, there's something in there, and it feels roughly card shaped. Besides that, you have the visual impact of it as well, or it shows through like an additional window on the front of the envelope.
I have even seen, yes. So as a matter of fact, I kind of interrupted my own thought there, but
Hmm.
since you happened to mention it, the sample that I showed you earlier outside the
Right.
envelope, you pop
North
it in the
Shore. Right.
envelope. We've got a window.
Hmm.
Um, I have seen marketers print in very, very light screen the
Hmm.
impression of what looks like creases from the embossing on the outside
Hmm.
of an
Yeah.
envelope. So they
Yeah.
kind
I
of,
love that.
yeah, it's a teaser, and it looks pretty real. It looks like those creases
Yeah.
were created by the card inside.
Yeah. I mean, it's, we could do obviously like whole series just on envelopes and all the different tactics that can get envelopes open, which is, the first step. But I think that uh, that embossing is just like really just wonderful to see and feel too. Yeah.
And it's
So,
really it's the only place where you see embossing anymore is in direct mail pretty much. And people
yeah.
still love it.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, in fact, I mean, I think that's almost a mini trend. If you're, I was beginning to see like a lot more of that over the last year or so, especially envelopes. But I want to touch on the environmental impact of using cards. We know that like in the print and mail world, sustainability is something that's important for some clients and their customers or members in the case of nonprofits. How are you addressing that with them if they come to you with that concern, both in terms of education as well as alternatives?
Right. So for embossed cards, PVC remains the best performing material, and PVC
Hmm.
is not ideal from an environmental standpoint. So
Okay. Yeah.
we do offer recycled PVC. So if you do want to stay with embossing and you want the quality of a PVC card, but you want to lessen your impact, you can go with a recycled PVC. We do offer a variety of other materials, though, if you are looking at personalization methods other than embossing. So
Hmm.
we have our Go Wild reduced PVC and
Okay.
PVC-free materials. So both
Cool.
of these
Cool.
contain a majority of calcium carbonate, which is chalk.
Right.
And so they are healthier or the plastic is healthier to produce. It's healthier at the end of its life when it comes time to dispose of it. Um,
Hmm.
we are also producing more and more paper cards. This is a high-end paper with full face
Oh,
foil.
wow. Oh, I love
Uh,
that. Yeah.
they are beautiful in person, and we have free samples available for anybody who's interested in taking a look. This particular form foil material does not have a plastic carrier. So the
Hmm.
nice thing about that is that when you're done with the card, you can literally tuck it into your paper recycling and it will recycle curbside with your mixed paper. So there are a lot of options for sustainable papers and alternative plastics for those marketers that want to move away from PVC.
Yeah, that's terrific to see. Um, so talking about trends, um, again, with your experience, your point of view, the kinds of customers that you talk to, what kinds of trends are you seeing for direct mail and especially any new technologies that might be incorporated into cards and used in mail?
If we step outside of direct mail for a moment and think about the
Hmm.
other functions of cards, there are some pretty exciting technologies in the payment and access card space.
Okay.
Various, tap to pay. Like for instance, now we're developing technologies that will allow you to pay with a card that doesn't have any visual numbering on it.
Right.
Um, and so cool biometric technologies and other technologies that are in payment and access cards help create ideas in the direct mail space because
Hmm.
they're getting consumers again excited about cards, kind of keeping that perception that cards carry value, that they offer security, that they offer financial power. And then we take
Hmm.
that and we kind of use that for creative ideas in the direct mail space. So I think what is key right now is for marketers to do what they do best and to always be testing.
Yes.
Now is not the time to kind of stick with what worked in the past because with postage
Hmm.
rates going up, it's more important than ever that you are looking for the highest return and the lowest cost for that return. And so constant iteration, testing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, and also I think audiences too. I mean, audiences who are really Gen Z and millennials and probably pretty soon, if not already, uh, alpha generation, looking for print and all the possibilities of print and newer printing technologies and being wowed by what's possible now and was less possible or prohibitively expensive in years past is now being done.
Right. There was, and I apologize, I don't have the exact numbers, but there was recently a study done in the nonprofit space that yielded results that surprised me that
Hmm.
Gen Z and Gen Y were the generations that were most likely to respond to direct mail nonprofit uh,
Hmm.
pieces. And the pieces tended to their response would be online. So
Right.
they love receiving the direct mail. They take that direct mail, it drives them online to make their gift. Um, Young people love getting mail,
Yeah.
and there isn't as much of it as there used to be.
Right.
So, for those people who are doing thoughtful and smart and targeted direct mail, they're getting a lot of attention, right? They
Right.
don't have a whole lot of competition in the mailbox.
Right. And it stands out too, because if you, I mean, personal experience as well, if you donate money to different organizations or you join different organizations and everything is entirely through, through your phone or the web, and there's no follow-up with that, or you get follow-ups, you get on an email list, but it's just like a swipe away from oblivion.
Right,
Whereas
right.
if you have a program that you get into where you are, really again going back to what you talk about, like the emotional tie-in as being part of that cause, and different ways of doing that with print, it's a lot more impactful that way.
Yeah, and I would say also for those and some direct mailers are already doing this. They're already really good at this. But for those that maybe haven't had the budget to really focus on data in the past, it's so important that they do that now.
Hmm.
Keeping their list up to date. I have a nonprofit that I donated to about 20 years ago for a friend.
Right.
And I get the same number 10 closed face envelope package from them like every 2 months ever
Right.
since. They've been wasting all of this money sending, they followed me to 4 different addresses because of a gift I made over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And and
That's
so
tenacity.
yeah, with postage going up, I mean, now is the time to make sure that you're really honing in on the audience that connects with you.
Right. Right. Yeah. Great point. I tell that to people too, and I write about this as well, is, look for opportunities to really segment your audience a lot better than you have been doing. And you don't have to necessarily mail to all those segments all the time. You can really be, choosy about that, and especially like your higher end, high value donors or members or customers, some of whom may really be, you know, your customer or your member or your donor because of mail.
Right.
So keep sending them mail, but the other ones you can kind of segment them differently and maybe, stick with email for the most part. And that way you're not, mailing everything to everybody.
Right, right. But then again, continuing to iterate because that same
Mhm.
person who maybe you've connected with email in the past may reach a point where their email volume causes them to suddenly start filtering a lot of that out. You want to make
Right,
sure that you're getting in front of that person some other way if you're not getting a response.
right, right. So, what mail piece? This is a question I asked everybody at the end of towards the end of the call. What one direct mail piece, that you may have received recently really made you stop and pay attention, uh, and maybe even respond to?
This is going to seem silly because
No such thing as silly.
it's not a very elaborate direct mail piece,
Okay.
but I'm a DSW customer.
Hmm.
So for those who don't know, DSW is a shoe retailer.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to show you a sample because you told me you were going to ask this question and I couldn't find
Right.
it. And I think it's because I already used the offer. But
Hmm.
um, but they sent me a self mailer, so it's like a 3 panel self mailer. Inside there was attached two cards that were separated by a perf, and each card, one of them had an immediate, an offer that you could redeem right away, which I used immediately. The other one was an offer that would be good like 3 weeks later. Um, so DSW has been really good
Hmm.
at mailing regularly, but not too much. So they stay in touch with me. Um, they always include an offer that justifies a trip to the store. So it's something, and at least one of the offers in the piece is available right away. So when I get a mailing that only includes offers that I have to wait for, sometimes I forget, right?
Hmm.
In this case, there's something that drives me to the store right away. Um, I feel like all it takes is 1 or 2 mailings like that really connect, that really bring value to create a positive habit for the audience. And
Hmm.
now they're looking forward to the next mailing. And when they receive it, they're going to open it up right away because they know in the past they opened it up and they found something that they liked. Um, so that would be my example of somebody who's doing very simple mailings.
Hmm.
They're incorporating a card, which I love, and yeah, they're doing it well.
Cool. Cool. I'll have to keep an eye out for something like that. It's been a while
Are you
since
a
I've
shoe
been.
person, Paul?
No, I have like four pairs of shoes, but my fiance is, so I'll keep that in mind and keep an eye out for
Yeah.
that. So how can people contact you and Marketing Card Technology to find out more about all of your
Mhm.
solutions and the ebook that you talked about earlier?
Yeah. So we're very active on LinkedIn. So you can find us on LinkedIn. Our website is www.mct mcttechnology.com.
Mhm.
At our website, we not only have several response forms, but we also have a page that that has our entire sales and leadership team, and you can contact any of us directly from that page. And we love to hear from people. Feel free to reach out if you want to, receive samples, if you'd like a copy of our ebook on how to include plastic cards or paper cards in direct mail. We'd love to hear from you.
Right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being part of Meet the Mailers, Karen. I really appreciate you being here, and thanks so much.
Thank you, Paul.
Great. And thank you all there for joining us today. Remember, questions and feedback are always welcome. Tap those like and subscribe buttons. And if you want to be highlighted in a future edition of Meet the Mailers, please reach out to me. My contact info can be found in the paragraph below by tapping Show More. And we can talk about how we can showcase your company, your solutions, and your thought leadership about direct mail and print. Thanks again for watching Meet the Mailers, and see you next time.